Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episodes 9 and 10, the finale of season 2 of Cobra Kai. So yeah, we are going to be finishing this off today, and there's actually a very specific reason. Cobra Kai is a first impressions, and another first impressions just returned, and I did not know it was returning yet. Ghost and Molly McGee, for anyone who is curious. Um, and because that has returned, that's something I consider a priority show. For those who might be new to the channel or whatever and haven't heard that term before, what it basically means is that it is a show that takes priority for me over others. Meaning that if I can't fit it on the schedule normally, like if there's not a spot that's going to open up organically, I will put something on hold for it. But I realized that I only have 2 episodes of this left, and I actually kind of planned on doing the last 2 together anyway. And I planned on doing it this week before I take my break for Youmacon. So everything just kind of worked out because the new episode of Ghost of Molly McGee just came out this past Saturday. So it's kind of perfect timing. It just worked out. I was actually really nervous before I realized that, yeah, I could just finish Cobra Kai here. But yeah, I think this will work just fine. So, last time, Daniel had a lot of apologizing to do, but he's tried to do it in the wrong way. He tried to make up for it by giving sushi and extravagant gestures, by not being, honest and genuine. And so when talking to his mom, he realized that that was the issue, that by being honest and genuine with his wife, that's what that he didn't need to exactly win her back. That's the wrong way of looking at it, but he needed to be reminded himself of why he fell in love with her as much as he did and why she fell in love with him. Instead of this big grand gesture, it was a smaller gesture, something more simple, something more personal to them. And it worked. And he acknowledged his mistakes. He apologized. That's another big step. When you do something wrong, don't try to win them back with big grand gestures, especially before you apologize. That is definitely something he needed to do, and he did. And my camera died. Of course it did. Okay. So yeah, I'm glad that we still see that Daniel and the other characters in the show are still learning. They're still growing. They still have work to do. They're not perfect. And I like that. Of course, the one day I don't want my camera giving me all these troubles, and it's giving me all these troubles. Meanwhile, we have Johnny dealing with, no longer having the weakness of his former mentor clouding his judgment. He also shows more interest in Miguel's mom again, and eventually has to confront her date when he sees him in a bar talking shit about her and stuff. He confronts him, but shows mercy, and eventually it does lead to, apparently he's gonna go on a date with her, though it does seem a bit like a rebound. So I would be cautious if I were him. I wouldn't go too far. He's getting lucky here, and he honestly shouldn't take things too far, considering it does basically come across as a rebound for the other guy, quote unquote, standing her up. So now we have 2 more episodes, and you know Kreese has got to come back. You know he's got to like have one last say in this season, and it's not going to be good. But it's going to be good for viewing. It's going to be good entertainment. Let's put it that way. But let's get this going and hope for the best with these final 2 episodes. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode, or episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Jesus. The first of these 2 episodes was kind of nice. I mean, a little tension, a little trouble, and everything. But, you know, Johnny and Daniel were kind of starting to fix things up. And then episode 10 happened, and it's like everything went down the fucking drain. Like, literally everything. Every single thing that could have gone to shit went to shit in one fell swoop. Just one massive school fight ruined literally everything. Every relationship. Johnny no longer has control of Cobra Kai. That was bought from him by Kreese. Well, bought from the landlord. And on top of that, Daniel now has to even pack up all of his karate stuff. Miyagi-Do's done for the time being. Obviously, for the time being. Yeah, shit's gone really, really, really poorly. To put it simply. And on top of that, Miguel's in extremely bad shape. Like, broke his back, possibly his neck and other bones, and it's just like, obviously he's gonna survive. We know this, but Jesus, he might never be the same again, like physically. I assume he's not only gonna not just survive, but I assume he is going to be better enough to do karate again by some point. But it's going to be a while. Hell, I don't think he's going to be doing karate this entire next season unless we have a time skip. And now we have set up that Allie is going to be coming back into the picture. Next season, more than likely. Everything that went wrong could. And it kind of all centered around a single fight. That all started because Miguel and name is escaping me right now. Sam. Miguel and Sam. I shouldn't forget that name. My sister's name is Sam. Miguel and Sam not really accidentally, but stupidly kissed because Sam was drunk and Miguel was kind of emotionally vulnerable. At the party, Tori saw this and became vengeful as fuck because she's a little bitch like that. I really don't like Tori. She's actually one of the few characters in this I don't have any sympathy for. Literally all of this started because of her. Like, you can try and blame Johnny as much as you want. Hell, he blames himself a lot. But this all wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Tori. She was the one who started this big-ass school fight. All of this, every smaller fight that happened within it, happened because of her. It's insane. She is the instigator here. And, you know, she's probably not going to get any comeuppance from this. I would be really surprised if she did. No, instead everybody else is being punished. Carmen and Johnny were like having a really good time together. Johnny and Daniel had been trying to mend their relationship again. Um, Everything was going well. And then in one like fell swoop, it wasn't. Even Dimitri and Hawk had a moment there, talking about Doctor Who, talking about Jodie Whittaker playing the Doctor, and it's like nothing worked. Just nothing worked out. Now, like I said, Miyagi-Do is shut down. Cobra Kai is in Kreese's hands. As I mentioned, I already know what happens with Johnny, where he goes and everything. That was spoiled for me. Um, I don't know all the details surrounding it, but I just know the like basics of what happens. Um, I don't know so much about how things are going to work with Daniel though. And again, mostly everything I am still blind on. Jeez. So Kreese is going to be not just a problem for this season, but just an ongoing issue, a continuous ongoing issue. I wonder what Allie being brought in is going to do. How is she going to change things? Is she going to help? Maybe she'll help Johnny get back on his feet. Maybe she'll help Daniel. Maybe she'll help both of them. I mean, it's very possible. That would actually be kind of cool if Allie came back in and helped both of them get back on their feet. The problem is, I just don't know how they're going to after this. This is such a horrific incident. Like, Sam got notably injured. Miguel is in horrific condition. It's like, how do you come back from that? Also, I just want to say the expressive acting from oh my god, I can't think of his name right now. Johnny's actor. I can't think of his name at the moment. I'm usually actually pretty good with that, but it's slipping my mind with everything that I guess I just saw. But the emotive acting from him, like when he's looking in at Miguel in the hospital room and everything, you see him like crying and like his face just contorting into just pure agony and guilt and suffering. It's so fucking good. Like, oh my god. Like, I have always been a proponent of good expression. I try to say expression and expressive at the same time. Good expressive acting. Because I feel like sometimes just an expression can get across a lot more than any amount of words. And that got across so much. It showed his guilt, his pain, and it showed that it's not because he lost Carmen or anything. It's because he was supposed to be there for Miguel. He was supposed to steer him in the right direction. A direction different than the direction he was steered by Kreese. And in the end, that's not where it went. That's not what went down. But the fact that Miguel did show mercy, like, there's something there. There's a glimmer of hope there. That Johnny's lessons have gotten through. But unfortunately, what it led to still, and what Robbie did, and you could tell Robbie regrets the shit out of that. He regretted it right after it happened. He was horrified too. It was a spur of the moment thing, and yeah, he was actively wrong, and he was actively the bad guy there. But he didn't mean to do that. Like, he didn't want to do that. You know? But yeah, the emotive acting on his face there was sublime. It was phenomenal. Sublime is probably the wrong word there, but phenomenal. amazing. And there was obviously some good emotion from a lot of different characters in this finale. Daniel, Hawk even had some good stuff. A lot of them really got a chance to shine here. And I'm very interested to see where this goes next. Because obviously we have to bring back Miyagi-Do. We have to just continue with the story. There's, I think, 4 or 5 seasons currently. So it's like there's still definitely more to go. But yeah, that's a big way to end things off for this season. And it also does a good job at giving higher stakes than the original movies. You watch the first Karate Kid movie, it's like, oh no, none of shit like this is not happening. Like this kind of level of fighting, this kind of like horrific shit. It's like Johnny and his gang, as much of punks as they were, never did anything like this. And as much as Daniel was kind of a little bit of a jerk himself back then, he didn't do anything like this. There was nothing like this in that movie. Probably the closest is when Daniel went to the dark side, when he fell to Cobra Kai briefly. That was probably the closest, which I mentioned like the other episode when that was brought back up. I mentioned like I had completely forgotten about that, and I still don't remember every little detail about it. But that's definitely, I think, the closest from the original movies to what we're seeing here. But I don't even think that still stands up. What we're seeing here is so excessively horrific. I keep using that word, but it's fitting. It is horrific. It is terrifying what just happened. And again, the only one I have no sympathy for is Tori, because she was an absolute bitchsicle. Like, she started all of this, and she's the only one who really hasn't had anything for me to sympathize or empathize with her over. She is by far, like, besides Kreese, the worst of them. Kreese is obviously much fucking worse, but... And I'm sure Tori has, like, a lot of sad backstory stuff that we're going to explore with her, and maybe she'll even have a redemption arc, but until that happens, as of now, I honestly hate her. I honestly hate her guts. She pisses me off. It's like, Jesus. But I guess we'll see when we get to season 3, and hopefully it won't be as long. Like, we've had so many breaks with this, and that have lasted a lot longer than I wanted them to, but there's just so many shows. There's just so many goddamn shows. It's just hard to keep up with all of them. So hopefully it won't be as long as before, but I can't promise anything. Either way, for the time being, I already told you what is taking this slot. It's the Ghost and Molly McGee, which, again, I didn't even know was coming back yet. I thought it was going to come back in, like, the middle of November at the earliest. Maybe even late November. But, hey, it's back, so that's replacing it right away. And you'll see this, obviously, but I'm getting to the next episode, which I believe is episode 15 of Ghost and Molly McGee, today. I'm not waiting on that. You'll obviously see that, but yeah. Either way, tell me your thoughts on this episode of, or these 2 episodes of Cobra Kai Season 2 down in the comments below. And for now, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.